When his nails get long, he just goes to the grinding wheel and cuts them into or 3 strokes and polishes them. A neighbor asked him to trim the weeds in his backyard. The old man poured gasoline on the lawn and threw a fire into it and burned up the weeds. And the old man had a dream beyond lightning to take this old buddy to the Salt Lake Challenge. It's like an ice field where he can reach his crazy speeds without any limitations, but he's too far away from the States to afford the round trip alone. That night, the motorcycle club held a fundraiser for him, but while Bert was on stage, a group of young bikers barged into the hall. They found Bert and challenged him to a speed duel. Bert didn't shy away from the challenge. The next day, Bert's old friends showed up to support him, and then the bikers arrived in force. Bert pulled out $100 and placed a bet. He was sure the old Indian was the most loaded. Bert didn't respond and came to the starting line with a roar of engines. But when the starter waved the bikers out, only Bert was left standing. The old motorcycle had a problem and needed help, so his friends came over and gave him a push to get it started. Bert was on his way, and like a bolt of lightning, he overtook the biker gang. Bert went to the bank to put a mortgage on his only house. They asked him if this trip was important to him. Bert told him it was about his dream. With the money, Bert was ready to leave on Thursday. A life of adventure is like a spicy spice. You have to take a risk once in a while to make it worthwhile. Soon it was Thursday and only friend came to see him off. That made Bert a little sad. It was then that the biker gang approached Bert again. They came to say goodbye to Bert, and they gave him back the money they bet on him. The town streets were lined with automobiles that drove Bert's way, all in the name of Bert's ridiculous dream. After arriving in America, Bert was on his way to Salt Lake City, but it wasn't long before something happened. The wheel of his motorcycle came off. His bike was thrown off the road, and the wheel was free and away from him. Bert chased the tire for a long distance and finally retreated. Bert continued his journey in the scooter again. Near dusk, halfway across the world, and finally arrived at the vast expanse of Salt Lake City. This was the place where he'd made his mark, the place Bert had dedicated his life to, and for which he was in tears. He came back to this Salt Lake at night to admire its beauty, the white earth that had haunted him. It's been a quiet few days, the perfect time for a test. During this time, he met Jim, a veteran competitor. He admired his courage in traveling so far. Soon the day of the competition drew to a close. Bert rushed over to get his number and rankings, but the staff told him the registration had long since closed. Bert was frowning in place. He didn't even know there was an appointment to sign up. So Bert went to Jim for help. With his help, Bert was given a chance. But when the crew saw the old bike during the next inspection, it made them laugh out loud. And to top it off, Bert didn't even have the basic protection he needed to pass the inspection. Jim spread the word about Bert, and the crew was impressed. Finally, they gave Bert a chance to test his car by betting that it wouldn't go over 70 mph. Bert was thrilled and put on his goggles, and after a few moments of driving, Bert got off to a good start. The others started the car and followed the unheralded red rat. With a roar, the car began to accelerate, and the red color on the ice sheet pulled away. Everyone was shocked and cheered him on. When Bert stopped, the organizers gave him the go-ahead. Bert said he'd been waiting for this for over 20 years. And finally, it was race day. Many people heard about Bert and came to watch the race to support this old dream. Never give up too soon in your old age. Into the pale expanse of the battlefield of speed. But when he got in the car, he realized that his legs were wrapped in with cotton, and he couldn't feed his calves in the car. So Bert just threw them away, and with many eyes on him, Bert entered the track. The car started well and came to an end. Bert was in agony. His calves were burning. Unfortunately, it happened. The car rolled over. It rolled many times before coming to a slow stop, and Bert struggled to get out. He peeled back his pants and was a ham. But it was worth it. He was lying in this Salt Lake, the place where his dreams had come true, in a few minutes that surpassed all others. It's more exciting than a lot of people's whole lives. Translated with www.people.com divided by translator free version.